businesses are drowning in too many emails. This is Mark and Pete live. We're bringing you a fascinating topic that seems to afflict so many of us, and it's a real problem, especially in business. So I'm a clergyman, and here right next to me is businessman Mark. Is it really that much of a problem? Are emails really drowning the workforce?
Oh, sorry, I'm just plowing through thousands of emails. And
Oh, yeah,
Clergyman
right.
Pete, I'm sorry to have to say that this problem is now getting worse. Now, let me just call up a few facts. Let's just sort of highlight the problem. And this is really, in my opinion, illustrates the issue that everyone is facing today in businesses, especially as
Hmm.
we're all working from home. We seem to be getting more and more emails to the point where we're just simply drowning in it. How on earth do we decipher what is a good piece of communication and what is a bad piece of communication?
Yeah, so we got
Yes,
there. What is that? 300.4 billion emails were sent and
yes,
received
and that's what I
every
sent you
day.
last week.
It felt like that. Yeah. No, every day in 2020. So in 2019, there were 4 billion email users
Oh, yes.
worldwide. The active email accounts were worldwide about 5.59 billion. A Gmail. I have a Gmail account, but it's not the only one I use. So
Yeah,
I think that multiplies it. 1.8 billion Gmail accounts.
yeah.
The average office worker receives about 121 emails a day. 40 is the average number of emails per day a person sends for business purposes. That's you. That's you, Mark, isn't it?
I'm afraid
And
so.
or are you the 300.4 billion? Anyway, so December 2018, it says, I guess that's the latest stats they have. 43% of all emails were opened via mobile. So a lot of people are getting them on their phones as they're going around. Yeah, yeah. So I can see the numbers there are huge.
Yes. Well, I think that this is where, and perhaps we can go to a few stories, because people in business are starting to notice that it's impacting their lives. They can't simply get away from it. They're just overloaded. So here's an example. The lady that we see here on screen, and she is somebody who is a member of the public, but a business person, Claire Mullally. Well, she is somebody who has recognized that work has got more stressful over the last year. Not surprising, people are working from
Mm,
home.
mm,
And of
mm.
course, the idea of just simply clocking off, where you used to perhaps leave the office and then leave your laptop somewhere, put it away in a drawer, but
Yeah.
now it's with you all the time. You're at
Mm,
home.
mm.
And so I think here is what she's really saying is that there's a pressure to check emails, jump on video calls,
Yes.
and to be on hand at all hours of the day. And it's becoming harder to draw a line between work and home life. I think we can all relate to this.
Yeah, yes. Now, I guess it's interesting. I mean, she's an IT consultant, as it says in the second paragraph. So I guess, well, she's into this sort of thing, into this electronic communication. But as we've seen from the previous stats, it's really widespread. I mean, probably everyone listening has an email account, at least one. Now, let me just read out what she has to say here. The second paragraph. Claire, an IT consultant from Northern Ireland, argues the situation facing her and millions of others working from home during the pandemic isn't sustainable. So
No.
what she's saying is it's just too much because the pressure is such that you're never off. You're never away from work. You've always got an email to answer. And I guess that could really impact your mental health because you've got to be able to relax sometimes, haven't you?
Yes. Well, the thing here is that technology is a wonderful thing. It's a great enabler. But it's the fact is that you can't get away from it because not only are you working at your desktop or your laptop, but also is this it's on your phone. So many people actually go to sleep with their phone. And so when they hear
Yeah,
the pinging,
true. Yeah.
it's another pinging and alerting you saying that actually, unfortunately, there's a piece of communications. Now, we
Yeah.
feel as responsible employees that we need
Mhm.
to answer everything. The
Yeah.
problem
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that people are not being responsible. I don't really want to know that your cat's
Mhm.
birthday is 107.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just want, and your goldfish is now
No,
just
no,
giving
Claire,
birth
no,
to 1,000.
Claire here is coming from the sub point of view that she wants to be able to disconnect her. She's saying it's mentioned here rather the trade union Prospect.
Yeah,
This is in the first paragraph here. Is calling for the government to give employees a legally binding right to disconnect. But what you're
yeah.
saying, I think, is absolutely true. That people, because they're constantly connected, will use their work email, for things that really aren't business related.
Correct. Well, I have a solution here, and then the best way I think is in the form of a poem. So here's my suggestion as a business person. If you are virtually overloaded, so if you are drowning in digital mail and the inbox appears an infinitum, just tell your boss to stop the trail and that you've become a deleted item. Yes,
Oh
so
dear. Yes, it feels like that sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
that's the only way to stop it. Go in the dump box, get in the junk or somewhere like that. Anywhere,
Yes.
just get out of the game. Yes, but you see, the thing here is that I think it's unfortunate for many people who find themselves compelled to just keep looking at that inbox. There are other tools which, unfortunately, do tend to sort of actually keep you on alert, and we're not just talking about emails. There's people who have got Slack or maybe a chat on Microsoft Teams. So what's happening is we're just being constantly bombarded. Yes, I mean, from my side, I think that there are maybe an example that we should turn to. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually give an example of a well-known celebrity, and if you actually sort of
Yeah. Scroll up.
draw
Yes.
up on
Yeah.
the page,
Yes.
Tommy Mallet. Now, many people may not always know this gentleman, but he's actually a very successful entrepreneur. He was, should we say, a sort of a celebrity TV exponent from The Only Way
A
Is
TV
Essex.
exponent. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Was he a presenter?
I'm
I
trying to
don't know. I
elevate
don't know.
him because I don't know whether you've ever
I
seen.
don't know the gentleman. Look, I'm
Well,
just putting his picture
I'm
back up.
trying to
Looks
sort
very
of
pleasant.
give
Looks a
it give
nice
it a
chap.
little bit more grandiose than
Okay.
it deserved. But
So he
anyway,
was
that's
on the
my opinion.
telly. He was on
He
the
was on
telly.
the telly, a very well known celebrity. But the thing here is that unfortunately for him, when he was growing up, he suffered from dyslexia, and he was ridiculed because when people used to give him books, or even when they used to ask him to go and read his emails, he had difficulty. But here's where he turned the problem into a solution. And now, with his very sort of celebrity status, he's actually managed to build a business in footwear, and that's great. You know, he's still a young chap, become a multimillionaire. But the key here is that he's got a policy which I quite like, in that he will only have emails of 5 words. Now, the point here essentially is trying to get you as a communicator to think very carefully. Do I need to put all the guff into an email? And that's a good idea. I think you could go even one step further. Some people actually have no email days. Now,
Oh, yeah.
obviously, you have to
Interesting.
still communicate externally, but internally, that's a good idea.
Yes.
Because many people just misuse the idea of an email. It's
Yeah.
just now, it's
Yeah.
almost like we just feel some people need to just communicate everything that's in their head to
Yes.
anyone.
Yeah. So I mean, let's just read this. Just get a feel of him. So the only way is Essex star Tommy Mallet says a former colleague who tried to shame him for being
Yes.
unable to read just made him more determined to succeed. Now running his own multi-million-pound Mallet London footwear business, the 28-year-old told BBC 5 Live's Nikki Campbell about the challenges he has faced with literacy and dyslexia. This is taken from the BBC website. I always knew I was a leader from a young age, and I always knew that I was going to be a success, he said. But at his first job, he was bullied. An older colleague on a building surveying and architecture apprenticeship tried to humiliating. I was reading a newspaper trying to fit in, and this guy took it off me, threw it over to the other side of the room and said, "Go and pick it up. You can't even read it." But at that moment spurred him on because I knew what I was worth. That's how it all started. I feel like it was just something that set the pace to show me I shouldn't have been where I was. I needed to just level up and go elsewhere. So if I just scroll down, that was what set it up. See if I can. Oh, yes.
That's him younger. That's it.
Yeah, yes.
Young chap,
Yes.
young chap,
Right.
entrepreneurial as he is.
So he says here, this is the bit you were saying. He
Oh,
tried to
yes.
make it shorter. Today, Mallet's own employees know not to send him an email with more than 5 words in it. And he has someone to whom he can send lengthy legal and insurance documents. I can read anything that's in front of me, he said. I can read a text message. It's just anything in depth. So he can't. He can read, but the in-depth stuff he can't go with. But he set things in place such that he doesn't have to. So that's good, isn't it? And also,
Yes.
maybe having some time when you don't actually connect via email, that can set you free.
Well,
But
that actually does lead me to a bridge to the next point, which is actually there's a very well-known entrepreneur, which is Warren
yes,
Buffett.
I've got him here. Yeah.
Now, Warren
I
Buffett
just had to cut out the pop-up there, was trying to get you to sign up to emails.
Yes, I was just about to do that. Yes.
Bit of irony.
So, what Warren Buffett, one of the world's successful entrepreneurs, famously does not use social media and emails because he actually finds them distracting. And in many interviews, whether it be with CNBC and others, he's really highlighted the point that actually they can be distracting. And so I think the point here is that you are, as an individual, potentially going to be distracted by technology if it's misused. Now, for somebody like Warren, he's very, very, very focused, and he recognizes, no, we're not going to sign up to our emails and click it away. Sorry, Warren, we're not going to do it.
No,
we're not going to give out.
Because of that, we're taking you off the screen. Look, that's
exactly.
It, yeah.
So the point here is, folks, that actually learn from those entrepreneurs who have managed to actually think about technology and only use it where it's necessary and dismiss it when it's not necessary. Yes, there's a lesson there.
I think and I think there's ways to do that. You maybe for your personal messaging, use a messenger service and use emails for business, or have separate accounts and keep them separate. Your business and personal accounts, simple things like that can really help to make sure that you don't, go over the top and tell everyone it's your birthday and what you're wearing underneath your kilt or whatever it is. And you can keep the business emails business and the private emails private.
Yes.
I mean, there used to be a trend of people sending jokes around by emails, which would clog up the business. I mean, people do it more on social media these days, but it still does happen. So that's the answer. Make sure you're careful with your use of email. Don't drown in them. Take control. Seize control, folks. Seize control.
Let us know your thoughts.
Log
on to markandpete.com and send us an email.
Send us an email. Okay. See you next time. Bye for now.